All right. So basically, we were talking about how women don't usually don't know how to choose guys correctly.
Or you were saying that they have so much access, so much opportunity to date, I don't know, potential good matches, but they're not. So
Right.
can you explain that more?
Well, basically, like, since guys are the ones that usually pursue, even on online dating, then women are always going to have access to a number of different guys. So
Who are like pursuing them.
Yeah. So what I always hear is that women will say, well, I don't like these guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not the guy that I like.
Yeah.
So, there's going to be certain guys you don't like, but there also are going to be men that you do like. But the problem is that most women usually choose or give the time of day to the top 20% of guys.
So you're saying the wrong guy?
They're not necessarily the wrong guys, but they're choosing from a small percentage of guys.
And what do you mean the top 20%?
Meaning, like, they're looking for the best looking guy. They're looking for the guy who has the most money. They're looking for the guy who has the most swag and all that.
Why not?
No, but this is what I'm saying. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but you could look for that, but also you have to give other guys a chance. Like, it's like a guy, like, for example, a guy, he'll look for a woman who looks like Kim Kardashian or Beyonce, but if a woman looks like, the average looking girl, he'll still give her a chance. Like, he's
so
like,
are you saying that women should lower their standards?
no, women should have more realistic standards. Because
I think that's the same thing.
No, let me tell you why. Because if I'm the top 20% of guys, right? Like, I can get a number of different women, and I know I'm like desirable to a large number of women.
Right.
What would make you think that I'm going to just like give you what you want? Yes, like you see what I'm saying?
I guess I'm just thinking, like, if you have, you're saying 20%. So let's say 100 men on your list of people who are trying to talk to you. Why not talk to that 20 that you find the most attractive and the most, like, the most possible best?
No, I'm not saying don't talk to them. I'm saying, but talk to the other ones too. That's what I'm trying to say.
Talk to the top 30%.
34. No, I'm saying talk to the top 20, but also talk to the 80% that is not the top.
Exhausting.
No, but you know what else is exhausting?
It's emotionally draining.
But you know what else is emotionally draining? When that guy you really like stops calling you. When he just uses you for sex because he can. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's draining too.
Okay.
So why let even more men do that?
No, because there's other guys who won't do that, but you're not giving them a chance. And so this.
But how do you know which ones are which?
No,
Come on.
No, but
what you're saying is, like, women are going to have more of that kind of sex.
No. It's not. No, it's not necessarily. This is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the problem is, and we're talking about women not being able to choose correctly.
Yeah.
Is that the problem is that you have women who are looking and they're only looking for a certain type, and if that certain type isn't what they get, then they just like, well, I'm not going to deal with it. I'm just not going to bother. It's like if you go to a restaurant and you want tomato soup, and they're like, well, I don't have tomato soup. Women will walk out of the restaurant and
go for some other tomato soup.
No, right, but this is what I'm saying.
It's available up the block.
No, but this is what I'm saying. Then you go to the other store, and then they say, okay, well, we don't got no tomato soup, and then you walk out that store, and you go to another store, then you finally
some old tomato soup, and it'll give you a stomach ache.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. And you find a tomato soup, and then the tomato soup tastes disgusting and spoiled, and it gives you food poisoning, whatever.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But
why do more of that?
No. But this is what I'm saying. Instead of saying, "Oh, I'm gonna leave the store and not get the tomato soup," how about you get split pea soup or chicken noodle soup, whatever. There's other soups, so try other soups. Stop trying the same tomato soup and then get mad when the tomato soup isn't available, or is when it's available, it's not good for you.
Still sounds like you're saying they need to lower their standards.
No. I'm saying they need to widen their standards. They need to open up their standards. I'm not saying lower. See, what you got to understand is that. See, and I think this comes from a lack of understanding about men that women have. Is that usually the guy who most of the women want, right? Mm-hmm. He knows most of the women want him. You understand what I'm saying? So most of those guys, they're, unless you meet a guy who's either, been there, done that, and he's like, okay, I just want to, settle down, which is rare because if he knows he can get, and let me tell you something about men. The more that they know that they can get it, the worse it gets. You understand what I'm saying? It's not like a guy's gonna be like, oh wow, I've been working out, I've been looking better, I've been making more money, and yeah, I'm just gonna date this one girl who wants to, come and see.
Down.
Yeah, like no, you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then look, you have another guy over here who's a pretty decent looking guy. He has a good job and all that, but you see this, you see this other dude, and you're like, oh, but I want him. I want that guy. But that guy is, whatever. And like, have you ever heard of the husband store story?
The husband store?
Yeah.
No.
So I'll tell you the husband store story. So basically,
Husband store.
Oh,
okay.
Right? Because this illustrates why women have issues in the dating game.
All right.
Okay. So there's a store called the husband store. So basically, it's 6 floors, and each floor has, different types of husbands. So you can go there to, get you a husband. But the rule is that you every floor that you go up, you can't go back down to the next floor. You understand what I'm saying? You just have to choose either on that floor and then leave the place. You understand what I'm saying? So if you go to the second floor, you can't go back to the first floor. If you go to the third floor, you can't go back to the second or first. You got to just leave, right? So on the first floor, you go to the husband store, and then they're like, oh, on this floor, we have, these guys have really good personalities. Right? And then so the lady's like, okay, and then they go up to the second floor. The second floor, the guys have really good personalities and they're romantic. And then she's like, okay, well, then she goes to the third floor, and then they're like, oh, he's romantic, has a good personality, and he's really good looking. Right? And then she's like, okay, that's cool. And then she goes to the fourth floor, and then he's like, okay, he has a good personality, good looking, romantic, and he has a really good job. Right? And now she's like, oh my God, I got to go to the 5th floor and see what's on the 5th floor. Right? So then on the 5th floor, the guy's good looking, got a good job, nice personality, romantic, and also,
what's the 5th thing?
And also he's really good with kids, and he wants kids and yada, yada, yada. Right? So then she's like, oh my God, I can't contain myself. I got to go to the 6th floor. So she goes to the 6th floor, and there's a big sign that says, you are the 7,289,000 526 women to come up here. There are no more men on this floor. You have to leave. You see what I'm saying?
Stupid.
And so this is, and then so on across the street they have the wife store, right? And the wife store also has 6 floors, right?
Yeah.
And so the guys go to the wife store, and on the first floor of the wife store, it says, this woman, is cooks and cleans. Then he goes to the second floor, and it says this woman cooks and cleans, and she's beautiful. He goes to the third floor, and it says this woman cooks and cleans, she's beautiful, and she's good with kids. And then basically the story is that no man has ever passed the 3rd floor, right? He just gets whatever from those 3. So the point is that for women, a lot of times is that they're always trying to get one up. Yes. You see what I'm saying? And then what happens is that you miss out and you don't get shit. You know what I'm saying? And so why don't you widen your net? Why don't you date more guys except for the guys that you want in that little box that you want? You feel what I'm saying? And then that's how you're going to get more things. You see what I mean?
This is so interesting. I had dinner with a girlfriend last night, and she was like, so she's now a single mom, and she's like, it's hard dating, it's hard finding, at this point she's like, I did a lot of dating, but now I kind of want somebody, to be a partner and raise a kid, right?
Right.
And she's like, do you ever think about the guys that got away? And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, I just think back about when I was dating a lot, and how there were guys who were like really pretty good, and in retrospect, I'm like, he would have been a good life partner.
Right.
But because of this or that, or circumstances, I just, dropped him and moved on to the next guy.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, wow.
I know, and that happens
and
a
this
lot.
is what you're saying,
right.
is that this happens a lot, that women will, find quality men, but they're not willing to see it through and then regret.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, and that's
so interesting. And that I had that conversation yesterday.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. And like I was saying before, we was off the the audio thing where I was talking about how I was in a train and I seen this lady who looks like
another story altogether.
Damn near 60 years old, scrolling through Tinder and OkCupid. You know what I'm saying? And
So you said she was scrolling through a lot of matches.
lot of matches. And, you know, yeah, so she had a lot of matches. She's 60 years old. So you got to say to yourself, okay, like unless a situation happened where she was with her husband or whatever, or boyfriend or whatever, and they've been together for years, and then, you know, he either passed away or they broke up or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But let's say, for sake of argument, that's not the case. You know, she's just been in and out of different relationships here and there, and you're 60. Now, the fact that she's 60 and still can
Get a lot of
matches means that you have a lot of opportunity to make something happen.
Yeah.
Because
and appreciate your opportunities and
right.
choose from that and stop trying to go up to the next floor.
Right, because it's the thing, you know, like on Tinder, like most guys just swipe right on everybody. You understand what I'm saying? So there you go. You have guys are just throwing themselves at everybody. But see, that's the thing. Women want to feel special, like, oh, you know, you chose me because I'm like, you thought I was this and I was that, and that's all good. Whatever, guys, they're gonna just choose because they're trying to get their foot in the door. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so the difference between, you know, like how men and women operate is that men are operating sort of like on this thing where they're trying to cast that wide net to get what they want. Now, whatever they want, it could just be sex, it could be a relationship, it could be just dating, whatever it is. But the fact
they'll
is,
be willing to compromise.
Right, they're willing to you know, like be like, oh well, she's not necessarily my type, but I'll give her a chance. You see what I'm saying? Y'all don't give.
She's hot and she's not that crazy.
Right, you understand what I'm saying? Like women generally just won't give a guy a chance. You feel what I mean? It's like, oh well, you know, I don't like that picture he has with his dog, or I don't like that, you know, he used this word instead of that word. He said you're instead of you are, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like some goofy stuff, and it's just like, okay, well.
But it's
not that big of a deal.
A good match,
right?
If you were willing to,
If you're willing to go
see it through,
right? And so that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if I said to someone, hey, me and my friend always go out on a town and talk to women and interact with women, and we do this 7 nights a week. We talk to at least 20 to 30 girls a day. You understand? So like, you know, so it's a lot of women we're talking to. And if I told you that he could never get a girl's number, you would think like, yo, this guy must be a loser. This guy must be crazy, right? So let's flip this around. If I say, oh, I know this woman who gets 100 messages on OkCupid and Plenty of Fish and Tinder, and guys talk to her in the street and everything, but she can't seem to find a man, right? So in the same logic apply. That's all I'm saying. So what are we doing wrong here where you can't find someone when you have all this access? That's what I'm saying. Like, it's ridiculous. That's all I'm saying. And I understand there's going to be guys who are going to be flaky. There's going to be guys who are going to be assholes. There's going to be guys who are going to, you know, like,
use you for sex.
Yeah, just use you for sex and all that. And I understand all that. But the thing is, again, if you're really trying to be in the game, you understand? If you're really trying to make something happen
and find what you want,
right? That's
dating.
Right. That's what do they call that? That's the casualty of war? Is that what they say? Like, ooh. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it is. If you want that thing, those are the things that's going to happen. It's the same way if, you know, a guy could say the same thing. He could, you know, a guy, if he wants to date or if he wants to have sex, he's going to have to deal with women who are going to reject him when he approaches. He's going to have to deal with girls who are going to flake. He's going to have to deal with having to pay for a date and maybe never see this girl again. You understand what I'm saying? He's going to have to deal with going on a few dates sometimes and still never have sex with the woman. All these things happen also, but the thing is that he still needs to do it. You understand? Yeah. And there are guys who don't do it and who also complain, and that's why they're not getting what they want either, because they're not really, you know.
This is a
what?
message for men.
I mean, it's for anybody who's not really, you know,
getting what they want.
Right. You understand? So it's just that's the thing. Like, but I think what's different for women is that for women, y'all have the luxury of being able to choose. You understand what I'm saying? Because just like if you just even look at it as something like as simple as Tinder, you understand? both people have to swipe on each other. You understand? But at the same time, your average woman is more likely going to get more men who she'll match with than a man's going to get more women he's going to match with. So it's not like I could understand if women were, not getting any guys. I was trying to talk to them. Like you might have, like, imagine if you have a girl who's not getting any guys talking to her ever. Yeah. And like, that would be tragic because you generally don't talk to guys. So it's like, you would need that for that to happen. But see, that happens generally for most women, and not just like here and there, but in abundance. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So since it's happening in abundance, if you have 100 guys that message you within a week or two, and you trying to tell me not one of them, you understand?
So you're saying, like, really consider there might be some really good matches in there.
Right. And
don't write them off.
Exactly, so because they're not like the perfect guy you're looking for at this moment, because you don't even know how you and him are going to click or whatever. See, like I feel like if women chose men how men choose women would have more men. You understand what I'm saying?
But women don't want more men. They want more quality.
No, that's what I'm saying. You would have more quality.
You would have more of what you want.
Yes, you would have more chances to find quality. Mm-hmm. Because for a guy, like, I'll give you an example. A guy, he can see what happened. Oh no, it doesn't matter. We still going on this. Yeah. Okay, there's a guy, he could see a woman and he might say, "Oh, she's not really my type physically, but she has nice eyes and she has a nice body or something, right?" Mm-hmm. That's enough for him to at least go on a date and see. So then he goes on a date and he's like, yo, this girl is like really cool. Like she's, funny. She's interesting. And now he's starting to like her more than he even did when he first saw her picture or whatever. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? But he would have never known that unless he went on the date. Right? And he would have never known that if he would have never went on a date if he didn't give her a chance. You see what I'm saying? So the same thing applies for women. It's like, this guy doesn't have to be the perfect guy, but is there something about him, something that you can say, okay, he seems cool in this regard. Let me see where it goes. You see what I'm saying?
But I don't know. I just feel like because 9 times out of 10, it's like you leave a date and you're like, God damn, I could have been doing my laundry.
But see, I could have
been,
that attitude is the reason why, again, you can't find a guy. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because this is the thing. You need to be able to.
But you gave the guy a chance. You went on a date.
No, you didn't give him a chance. I'll tell you. You want me to tell you why you didn't give him a chance? Why? Because what you're doing is that you're going out with him, and now you're expecting him, or you're pushing upon him the expectations of that 20% of guys. You're still in 20% guy mode. You're not even seeing him.
Yeah, because you have that 20% contacting you, so you think they're available.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You have to be able to. It's like if you go out with a guy and you're still hung up on your ex. You're not gonna see the guy because all you're thinking about is your ex. You're comparing him to your ex. You're like, oh well, my ex did this and this guy's not like. You see what I'm saying? So now you're still comparing him to the 20% of guys because you still, even though you're giving him a chance. Like you're literally physically there, you're not there emotionally because emotionally you're still trying to get the 20%. So you're going to see if he is like the 20%. You're not going to see who he is
and learn about him.
And so exactly, you see what I'm saying? And this is why it's so hard for women to make it happen.
So the message is not to lower your standards; it's to be more open-minded.
Yes, exactly.
About what your
because you can still go out with the 20% guys, still go out with those really good-looking guys or whatever. But the thing is, and I think it goes along to a woman's, because women generally, will approach the dating game in this like monogamous mentality, even though they're dating. It's like, I'm seeing this one guy. Yeah. I'm trying to make it work with this one guy. And so they meet that guy, that 20% guy that he's like super like close to the perfect man. And so they're like, oh, but I'm seeing Jeff, and Jeff is, so great, so blah, blah, blah. And then Jeff stops calling her and she's like, how come Jeff isn't calling me? Right. Should I call him? And she's all caught up in Jeff. Right. And all these hundreds of guys is waiting in the queue. And she's like, oh, it's so hard for me to find a man. And it's like, no, you just don't know how to choose a guy correctly. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear that.
And that's what it is. Oh, man. You see, it's so simple. It's so simple.
Wait, so summarize what's simple.
It's simple. This is what all you have to do. You have to open yourself up to date more men, and don't don't make your dating habits exclusive to just the top 20% of guys. You understand? Because you don't even know who you're gonna like until you're actually in front of them.
Your perfect partner.
Yes, this is what I'm saying. This is like you don't
And you're
know.
not even saying until you're in front of him. You're saying until you really,
right.
You're emotionally present.
Right.
When you're with him.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, because you might find out that this guy who you thought that you would have never got along with, or when it went anywhere, you find out like, oh, this guy's actually cool. I actually like him. But if you don't give yourself the opportunity to see that, then it ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So yeah, that's it, man. I think we're done. All right, we are out. Peace.